particular week. Much and more will be coming later on when I'll be joined by the gang as we try to chunk it down for you in a manner that you understand. And of course, many talks have been surrounding this particular World Cup. Many rooting for the likes of Neymar Jr., Harry Kane, Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, and actually the discussion now, it has been further narrowed down to two. Between the two, actually, and there is a prize to be won. Right now, the top contenders for the Golden Boots, that is Kylian Mbappe, and of course, the one and only GOAT, that is Lionel Messi. Who will carry the day? That is the big question, and actually, that forms the basis of our question today. Which team do you think will carry the 2022 Qatar World Cup? That is between France and, of course, Argentina. Remember, Argentina will be looking to win it for the fifth time. Then France have won it twice, and they'll want to win it back to back, and actually being the first European nation in over 60 years, of course, to win that particular trophy in win it and defend it. And let me take you back here in Kenya, of course, here home, and we have a couple of fixtures that I want to take you through that will be played today. That is, Nzoia Sugar will rub shoulders against Nairobi City Stars. Then we have Bidco United will be entertaining KCB. Then Bandari and Mathare United were supposed, that particular match was supposed to be played today, but because of a few reasons, it's not yet clear when it will be played. However, the sports council, the sports constitution, of course, had ruled actually rectifying the decision that were made by the sports tribunal to suspend these particular three teams, that is Mathare United, Wazito and Vihiga Bullets, and now they have been included in the Kenya Premier League, and it's just a matter of time before they swung into action. Wazito FC and Bidco United will play on Wednesday next week. So it's a good news for these teams after waiting for quite a long time, and now they actually have a chance to take part in that particular week. And of course, another team that will be playing, that is FC Leopards and Posta Rangers. Remember, this FC Leopard shared a spoiled last weekend, and Ulinzi Stars will be hoping to at least get in the winning ways, that is Ulinzi Stars, when they play Sofapaka. Remember, Sofapaka are the champions of Jamhuri Cup. And on Sunday, Kariobangi Sharks will play against Gor Mahia. Of course, those are the fixtures of today's fixture, and of course tomorrow fixture. That is one game will be played in particular, the Kariobangi Sharks and Gor Mahia, that will be played tomorrow at 3 p.m. And now we jump directly to today's highlight. I think it's noble for me to just give you some our handle and our social media platform. That is on Facebook. You can reach us at KUTV Kenya, on Twitter at KUTV _at AU_01. Remember to use the hashtag on the spot. Now, let's begin the show, shall we? Right. We begin this particular, today's highlight with the following report. Shuja's head coach Damian McGrath is optimistic of a change of fortune after giant betting firm SportPesa struck a new deal of 126 million sponsorship deal with Rugby Union. According to McRaith, the 3 months without salary and allowances, with the team struggling to get players on the plane, hence the poor performance that were posted on the ongoing rugby series. The team is expected to return to training on Monday and then break for Christmas holiday before resuming on December 27th ahead of Hamilton legs set for 21st and 22nd of January 2023 in New Zealand. Now from rugby now to some football action. Bunyore Starlets have been reinstated in the Football Kenya Federation Women Premier League following a ruling by the Sports Dispute Tribunal after teams that were supposed to be promoted to the FKF Premier League and National Super League respectively filed an application to declare the resolution made by the Football Kenya Federation National Executive Committee on 9th of November 2022 to nullify the league. The Bunyore Starlets will play against Ulinzi Starlets on Sunday, December 18th, 2022 at Mobomba grounds after months of uncertainty clouding their fate. Alright, and to now some other interesting news and actually good news to Kenya Rugby Union and in particular Shujas. SportPesa and Kenya Rugby Union have put pen to paper 3-year deal that will see the team benefit from 126 million shilling sponsorship deal that covers men national sevens team. Shujas Rugby Union called upon their sponsors to take up Simbas and Kenya Lioness among other projects in the union. The partnership between Kenya Rugby and SportPesa comes at a time when KRU has been struggling with financial crisis, with Kenya Sevens having gone 3 months without a pay, without salary and allowances. That is resulting to poor performance that the team has been posting in the recent outings of the World ongoing series.
Tuzo za heshima na Rais William Ruto siku ya Jamhuri. Mwingine aliyetuzwa miongoni mwa Moraa ni Hellen Siombua ambaye ana medali ya shaba kwenye mbio za mixed relay za 4 kwa mita 400 na aliyekuwa ameishikilia rekodi ya mita 100 Thomas Musinde. Moraa, Siombua na Musinde walipata tuzo zinazotuzwa na kiongozi wa nchi almaarufu kama Head of State Commendation, yani HSC, katika kitengo cha jeshi. Moraa na Siombua ni askari wa polisi huku Musinde akiwa sajini mkuu katika majeshi ya ulinzi ya Kenya. Wengine waliotuzwa kwenye kitengo cha jeshi ni walengaji shabaha wa kimataifa, mkuu wa polisi Thomas Kamitu, msaidizi mkuu wa polisi Abdullahi Nur na inspekta wa polisi Cornelius Koros. Walengaji shabaha hawa wameiwakilisha Kenya katika mashindano ya kimataifa ikiwemo mashindano yaliyofanyika Uingereza. Rais wa chama cha mpira wa meza cha Kenya Andrew Mudibo naye alikabidhiwa HSC katika kitengo cha wananchi.
Kayole.
What's Kayole?
They know. Kayole sign kila mtu eh. I was there maybe 2 years ago. But now he's back. Now everyone give me a Kayole.
What's Kayole?
They know. Kayole sign kila mtu eh. I was there maybe 2 years ago. But now he's back. Now everyone give me a Kayole.
What's Kayole?
They know. Kayole sign kila mtu eh. I was there maybe 2 years ago. But now he's back.
Alright, and now to some other news. Kenya National Sports Council Chairman Nderitu Gikaria floored his opponent to retain his seat as chairman of Sports Council, the Kenya, that in an election that was held on Thursday this week at Nyayo Stadium. Gikaria will retain his seat and will serve for a period of 4 years as National Sports Council Chairman in Kenya. Right. Seven sports stars were among the citizens confirmed by various state honor presided by President William Ruto during the sports inauguration at the 59th Jamhuri Day celebration at Nyayo Stadium. The sports personality were awarded in different divisions, including the military and civilian division, as Jacqueline Wanjiru now reports.
Bingwa wa mita 800 kwenye michezo ya Commonwealth, Mary Moraa ni miongoni mwa wanamichezo 7 waliopewa tuzo za heshima na Rais William Ruto siku ya Jamhuri. Mwingine aliyetuzwa miongoni mwa Moraa ni Helen Siombua ambaye ana medali ya shaba kwenye mbio za mixed relay za 4 kwa mita 400 na aliyekuwa ameishikilia rekodi ya mita 100 Thomas Musinde. Moraa, Siombua na Musinde walipata tuzo zinazotuzwa na kiongozi wa nchi almaarufu kama Head of State Commendation, yani HSC, katika kitengo cha jeshi. Moraa na Siombua ni askari wa polisi huku Musinde akiwa sajini mkuu katika majeshi ya ulinzi ya Kenya. Wengine waliotuzwa kwenye kitengo cha jeshi ni walengaji shabaha wa kimataifa, mkuu wa polisi Thomas Kamitu, msaidizi mkuu wa polisi Abdullahi Nur na inspekta wa polisi Cornelius Koros. Walengaji shabaha hawa wameiwakilisha Kenya katika mashindano ya kimataifa ikiwemo mashindano yaliyofanyika Uingereza. Rais wa chama cha mpira wa meza cha Kenya Andrew Mudibo naye alikabidhiwa HSC katika kitengo cha wananchi. Tuzo hizi hutolewa na rais kwa ushauri wa kamati ya taifa ya tuzo katika ofisi yake wakati wa sherehe za kitaifa na zimekusudiwa kuwaheshimu wa Kenya kwa juhudi wanazozifanya kuihudumia nchi yao na watu wengine kwa nafasi mbalimbali. Jacqueline Wanjiru, Runinga ya KU.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline Wanjiru, for that comprehensive coverage. And now moving on to some golf actions. Elvis Mugua and Rasmeet Karil have been crowned as the winners of the booty camp held at Windsor Club. The tournament, which was held in cooperation with the U.S. Kid Golf Foundation, was aimed at training 51 athletes, golfers across the country on different aspects of the game, including putting, chipping, pitching, bunker, iron play, and woods. Furthermore, the training of local coaches by US Kid on the ongoing series on the region of Coast, Nairobi, Mount Kenya, and Rift Valley, and of course Western counties, as expected in the ongoing golf tournament that was just concluded on this particular week.
My name is Rasmeet Kaur. I'm 17 years old. My home club is Nyali Golf and Country Club. I think it feels pretty exciting. Although I did not play my best, I understand that was the best gross that was there in my age category. It was really tough. The course was playing tough as well, but I had a lot of fun, and I'd like to thank Windsor and Safaricom for sponsoring this entire competition.
My name is Elvis Moigua. I'm from Kiambu Golf Club. I'm 19 years old. Today was a good day. I played some good golf, receiving solid being. I played with Krish, Lee, being the solid players. I feel good. They give me competition. I feel good.
All right. Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba has promised to launch an investigation of a misappropriation of funds and meant for construction and renovation of stadiums after this recent visit in facilities raised questions. Namwamba has of course called upon those involved during this particular discussion and questioning their credence over their involvement. Speaking during the Jamhuri Day celebrations, Namwamba reach out to, of course, rather signalize disappointing at the condition of the stadium after being forced to hand over Jamhuri Trophy to Sofapaka under darkness. Other stadiums on the spotlights include Kinoru Stadium in Meru and Kipchoge Keino Stadium in Eldoret, where billions were spent, and yet the facility don't match the investment. Now to some other international actions. Portugal men's national team head coach Fernando Santos has stepped down following the World Cup exit after Portugal's 1-0 at the hand of Morocco in the quarterfinals in Qatar. Santos, who was appointed to his role in 2014, led the national team to their first ever major tournament, which he led the national team for their major international success, winning the European Championship in 2016 and the inaugural Nations League 3 years later. He also secured the most victories by a coach in charge of Portugal. The Portuguese Football Association Board will now start the process of choosing the next national coach. Still matters to do with World Cup. Poland's Simeon Nasenic will be the first Polish referee to ref the final of the UEFA Champions, to ref the finals of the, of course, World Cup match. Nasenic will be referee of the Sunday World Cup between Argentina and France, and this is according to a report by Polish Football Association. Masiniak, who officiated his first World Cup match in 2018 in Russia, will be joined by assistant Powell Soleniki and Tomasz Leusnik. Qatari's Abdulrahman Al Jassim will be in charge of a third match placed between Croatia and Morocco at Khalifa International Stadium on Saturday, and will be assisted by compatriot Talib Al Mari and Saud Ahmed Al Maleh. Right, and that's bring to an end the first segment, of course, this particular sports show. When we come back, we'll be talking much about local and international sports review. But remember today's fixtures, that is just a couple of minutes, or rather, minutes away. That is our first match of today's Kenya Premier League fixture. Will be against Nzoia Sugar and Nairobi City Stars. That match will be played at 3 p.m. First, later on, Bidco United will entertain KCB, and of course, Bandari and Mathare United will be playing at 3 p.m. Same case to Tusker, and of course, same Tusker and Wazito FC. Remember, FC Leopards will be wanting to bounce back after they played to a 1-1 draw, and that is Posta Rangers. So FC Leopards will play Posta Rangers today at 3 p.m. Kenyan local time, or rather East African time. Ulinzi and Sofapaka, of course, Ulinzi and Sofapaka will play against each other. That is at 3 p.m. And on Sunday, we'll have Kariobangi Sharks against Kariobangi Sharks against Gor Mahia United at 3 p.m. Those are this weekend's fixtures that will be played in the Kenya Premier League. Remember, these particular fixtures, this is the fourth round of it, and Tusker FC still leads the table with 12 points, followed closely by Kakamega Homeboys, and of course, Gor Mahia follows in third with six points, of course, out of 2 games that they have played this particular week. This particular season, and of course tomorrow they will play against Kariobangi Sharks in a bid just to try and set the tempo of the Kenya Premier League and catch up with league leaders, that is Tusker FC. Of course, when we come back, we'll be talking much more about these particular fixtures and many more. Remember, Shujaz have gotten a new sponsor, of course, a sponsor that elevated them in a couple of years ago, but now they're back, and this comes with a signs of relief after so many months of going without payment. And now they can smile even as they carry Kenyan flag high in the ongoing World Rugby Series. Well, we take that particular break. When we come back, plenty more to come.
Wakenya wengi wanataka kubadilisha afya ya Wakenya kuwa bora. Wengine wanafikiria ni kwa kufanya harambee ili kusaidia wale ambao hawawezi kumudu pesa nyingi za matibabu. Ingawaje hili husaidia, cha muhimu zaidi ambacho unaweza kufanya ni kuhimiza kila mtu kujisajili kwa UHC Super Cover. Ni shilingi 500 pekee kila mwezi. Kwa kufanya hivyo, unasaidia Wakenya kufikia bima ya afya wanayoweza kumudu, ili wale wasioweza kumudu mahitaji ya matibabu ya afya wanaweza kupata bima ya afya wakati wowote ule wanapokuwa na hitaji. Iwapo Wakenya wengi watalipa UHC Super Cover, basi Wakenya tutazidi kuwa wenye afya njema. Haya ndiyo mabadiliko tunayotaka. Je, jukumu lako ni lipi? Ni rahisi. Lipia NHIF yako kila mwezi ya shilingi 500 pekee ili kujali afya yako, ya familia na jamii. Iwapo hujajisajili kama memba wa NHIF, tembelea kituo cha NHIF au Huduma Center yote nchini. Bonyeza *155# kujisajili au download My NHIF app kwa Google Play na Apple Store kujisajili. UHC Super Cover. Sasa sote tuko sawa. UHC Super Cover.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design, with branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa. Our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to reap a big tip on how not to run into losses.
Forget the preachy business vlogs, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation.
Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. We tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable and often smile to the bank.
Our children are home, schools are closed, and I'm sure that in this festive season that we are getting into, you will need a quick fix, a quick meal, one that is easy to make, one that is delicious, and definitely fancy for the kids. So today we are going to learn how to make a couple of meals when we are using rice. We're going to make 3 types of meals using rice.
To the Church Aklaksha. I'm your host, Esther Becky.
And my name is DJ Terror.
We start you off with a word of prayer and get you started with a live transformational worship experience. And have our minds renewed by the word of God on the word segment.
And not forgetting new music za hii wiki, yani ndakuwa bado nawapatia pale wasanii wamekuwa kiwakali. So make sure manzo tune in because zitakuwa zina flow pia pale mixes kwa wingi, yani zitakuwa zina come through, and pia performance yani from our gospel artist hapa on Gospel Arts
from 7 to
10 a.m. only on KUTV.
Ni cumulative.
Mchezo hiyo ilipoka gani kwani?
I'm a fourth year student and I mostly hang out at shopping center. I'm a arboretum. And what I'd tell first years is it's never too late to start being serious.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Tuesday tunakula usiku. Tuachane na break kwanza, tuende lunch. Chapo. Ndio. Kama mokimo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza zikinai tujinai siweke story kata maji pia shada liko nasio nikosa msuko si stress kama rende kisha basi nipe najua ni
Kiwa mama pick up brother ukiwa adriva pick up sis pick up shows mama pick up oya wase wote okay my principal big up.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient, and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back to the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Tech Innovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Make a date with me, Samson Jura, every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
All right, welcome back. And now we dive direct into sports review. And of course, we'll begin with local sports review before we jump into international sports review. And of course, as always, I'm joined by my one and only gangster, Michael.
Yeah.
How has it been?
A week full of ups and downs
Mhm.
for teams in the World Cup.
Mhm.
Remember, we saw Croatia, last World Cup's finalist, bowing down to Argentina in the semi-finals, and now we look forward to tomorrow in the final against France.
Well, at least I'm happy that I was rooting for two teams, of course, Morocco being one of them, Argentina. And, Argentina are in the finals, and I'm happy, even though Morocco did not, manage to climb, I will say the hurdles that were posed by France. But, France is a better team than Morocco. By all virtue and standards, France are the defending champions. They have the experience. And, of course, should we say they have perfect records and stats?
Yeah.
But all in all, it has been quite a fairy tale for Morocco. They have really represented Africa well. They have made history. And who knows, maybe tonight they might even make an history as the first African country to at least go home with a medal. Because they'll be playing Croatia today.
Yeah.
In the third place finish. Well, history. Beckons.
That would mean bronze for them, and that's quite a huge milestone for them and for Africa as a continent.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Well, we do hope that they will beat Croatia. Remember, these are the two teams that they'll not be meeting for the first time. They were in the same group, and they played to a barren draw. This time round, we expect Morocco to actually go out there with everything they have and actually come out with something, at least for an African continent. Let them do it for Africa.
Yeah.
So it's quite amazing, and we hope that all will be well. And at the end of the day, comes tomorrow, Argentina all the way marching to the crowd and lifting the title, because we have the GOAT.
Yeah.
And the rest are boozies and they're at home.
We also have the younger ones, the younger goats. We have Mbappe on the other side, so it's a match that will be decided by the team that will be lucky, and also the one that, of course, will implement their game plan the better.
Well, I was told today's match is about a team and individual brilliance. Some say Argentina depend on Messi a lot than France. France, their term was a team that played as a unit, teamwork. But I will beg to differ on that one, because I've seen. If you look at the 3 goals that were scored by Argentina, remember the first goal that was scored by Julian Alvarez?
Yeah.
That was individual brilliance. He dribbled, and at the end of it, scored some amazing, goal. The second one was much of, Messi doing his thing. Then it was a tap-in. But I think Argentina plays as a unit, not as they don't rely on Messi as many label it. But, tomorrow, destiny awaits, and even greatness awaits for tomorrow, because it's only France that stands on Messi's way to actually add another trophy on his cabinet. The only one that has lacked, actually, that is the World Cup trophy.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we come to, the World Cup, let's talk about some rather interesting news that have really, graced our scenes, and that is, now Shujaz, at least they have SportPesa as their sponsor for at least 3 years, and they have signed a deal of 126 million Kenyan shillings. Is that a great news?
Of course, it means a lot of motivation to the players as they head to the that city, that is Hamilton Sevens. There will be a boost in morale for this Kenyan side, and that is something that has been lacking. Remember, in the eve of Dubai Sevens, that's when we had Shuja players, of course, complaining about lacking that is their salary in the last 3 months,
And now this is something that comes at the right time.
Mhm.
This is quite timely. And we also need to talk about the sponsors, making sure that, of course, they follow up with this deal, making sure that the players get this kind of get their salaries, and also for the sports CS, it's now time to walk the talk.
All right.
He talked about having some trust issues with the KRU, and now that we have had quite a huge fortune being released by the Sport Pesa,
Right.
it's now time for him to make sure that there is accountability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was still another issue of, they have only sponsored Shujas, but we have teams like Kenya Simba, we have the Lionesses. The big question is who will step in for them, because these are national teams, and in my humble opinion, I think they all deserve, some sort of sponsorship. Why don't the Kenya Rugby Union maybe, split it actually among the three teams for Bacon? Because at the end of the day, they all don the Kenyan jersey and they represent Kenya in the global stages. Don't you think that is a noble idea for, the Rugby Union to do? And as much of the success that we have seen recently is owed or rather attributed to Shujas, but still, Kenya Simbas, Lionesses, they still need, some sort of support.
Yeah, I think in that case, it's a case of getting what you deserve. If in the next few years we see them, of course, recording good performances, we can have some amount chipped in for them. But I think what they did, they consider the team that is currently competing, talk of Shuja, and it's something that they thought by doing it to give them some motivation. But I also believe in the future they will be looking into, of course, involving the women's team and, of course, the Simbas. Yeah.
Well, they say it is the goose that lays the golden egg that is protected. In this case, it's Shujas. Well, there is a couple of, a few sentiments that were made by Sports Pesa CEO and, of course, Kenya Rugby Union Chairman. I don't know if my director has that sound clip.
To come back to rugby, because we really believe in the team, and we hope that moving forward, with Sport Pesa on the shirts of our Kenya Sevens team, that we will keep improving. We just came back from Dubai and Cape Town, and from what I hear, it's an improvement from what we did last year. And we are hoping by the time we finish this season, the team will have gotten much better. We have a very good relationship with the new CS, to be honest. It's a good thing that all those problems were cleared up before the games happened in Cape Town and in Dubai. And moving forward, I want to assure especially the players, please let's play. I know usually we have these issues whereby maybe the allowances are not paid on time, and it is not the officials of the Kenya Rugby Union that are at fault. What I want to assure you now that Sport Pesa is on board and we are partners. We will make sure that player welfare is very well taken care of, because when the team shines, the brand shines and the country shines. So for us, we will make sure that player welfare is at the forefront. And personally, I'll want to be in touch with even the captain of the team, so that in case of any issues, he can even reach out to me and we can sort out the issues, because the performance is what we want to see.
But in this deal now, we've only carved out the Kenya Sevens men program, and even then, it's only for the front of the shirt. And I think Sport Pesa is open to other partners other than gaming coming on board to also support the team. This team is owned by Kenyans, all the corporates who will get benefit from affiliating with it. So I think we then also agreed with Sport Pesa that the focus of the sponsorship will really be to ensure we look after the players. I think the CS talked about the goose that lays the golden egg, and so we are prioritizing that aspect to ensure that we look after the key resource that really lays the bacon for the whole union.
We're very pleased today to come back to rugby because we...
Right, you have heard it all from, of course, that is the Kenya Rugby Union chairman saying just in as much as you protect the goose that lays the golden egg, it's also important to look at, the small, let's say, chickens that loiter around. That is, in this case, we have the likes of Kenya Simba and, of course, the Kenya Lionesses, of course, which they are still Kenyan team and they need support. Well, we hope that humble and passionate appeal will lay into, concerned ears. And, of course, now still matters to do with rugby aside, and now let's move on to Kenya Premier League. Of course, a lot of fixtures are supposed to be played this particular weekend, and of course the last weekend there is a couple of matches that were played. That is still Tusker maintain their winning run. They won against Bidco United 1 goal, and that is taking them to 12 points, holding firm grip in the Kenya Premier League. And second to that log is, of course, Kakamega Homeboys. It's just a race between last season's performance, but this time round the only thing that separates the number 1 and number 2 is actually 5 points. Well, before we dive into, of course, this particular last week fixtures and of course today's fixtures, there is some rather interesting cup that was played during Jamhuri Day, and that is Jamhuri Park. Sofapaka edged out, of course, they edged out FC Leopards 4-3 in the post-match penalties to win Jamhuri Day Cup played on Monday. Well, I don't know if my director has those particular clips so that we can see how the highlight went down on that particular Jamhuri Day.
Basi Sofapaka ndo mabingwa mwaka 2022 kombe.
Of course, vile tunasema sisi ni batoto ba Mungu. The reality is we have started slowly in this season in the league. But for me, I'm not panicking because the league is a marathon. It's a step by step. You see, we play 2 away games. We started away in the league. Of course, we lost at the last moment against Bandari, but I had critical moments to win the game. We played 2 home matches against Posta and today against FC Leopards. We get a point. Of course, the reality is you could see in the first half of the FC Leopards, my strikers had the empty net to put the ball behind the net. That's the only situation. Of course, I want to congratulate my players because the tactical orientation in the second half, we pushed to get the equalizer. I think it was a sloppy penalty, reality. It was a sloppy penalty that we considered as a team, but the situation is coming back and of course getting a point and above all to win the Jamhuri Cup. This is the reality of Sofapaka.
To be honest, I think we don't deserve to win because the second half we were very weak, very weak. We were not able to make 4 or 5 passes in a row. I don't understand why, so I need to think about that. First half, yes, we play football, we had opportunity, and yes, in the second half, it's only after they score that we have an opportunity at the last minute. But you know, during 45 minutes, it was long balls, it was fighting, and so I'm not surprised that they score.
Well, the coach says they did not deserve to win. Indeed, they did not win. The other one says they had empty net to put in the ball. Wow, that is the beauty of Jamhuri Cup. But still, there is some very interesting aspect that really came out of it. You know, the poor nature of the infrastructure that forced CS, Sports CS, that is Ababu na Mwamba, to actually come out gun blazing about the ongoing, you know, let's say the proprietors of the tenders that were supposed to, you know, renovate these stadiums, despite a lot of money had been invested in this. And of course, this particular, you know, some sort of what we'll call it mix-up that we have seen, you know, tenders being awarded and Kenyans expecting, you know, nothing less than the best of what they have actually paid for. And at the end of the day, you get a stadium with poor lighting. You know, you can see how the stadium was, you know, even the awarding of those trophies. The CS had been forced to award trophies, some will say in the dark.
Yeah, of course it was in the dark, and that just shows the state of Kenyan football, and the ones who of course are given the responsibility to make sure that the condition of these stadiums are in the best state. Remember last week, I think it was last week or in the last 2 weeks, he has also visited the likes of Kinoru Stadium in Meru. I heard some times back that it cost around 900 million to construct the stadium, or let me say construction because it was there, but it was reconstructed. But again, if you look at the condition of the stadium right now, the condition doesn't match the investment. I mean, the pitch, even the carpet here is better than the one we see at Kinoru Stadium. Also talk about the Kipchoge Keino Classic, is a stadium that has been, the project has derailed for quite some time now, and this is one of the stadiums that of course we expect our athletes to be training and of course building up towards some of these big tournaments. And to solve this, I think now it's time for accountability for the ones who are involved in this kind of the procurement of the funds and so on, to be held accountable. It's time to walk the talk, not all about being in the media and talking something that is not implemented. And the best thing is to go for the individuals. Don't go for the unit. Go for those specific individuals.
In as much as the CS says it's time to crack whip on those rogue contracted, I mean, we have been there before. What makes you think like this time around things will be different?
Because we have a better CS. I mean, what he has done in the few days he has been in office, he's someone who is proactive. He's able to, of course, anticipate for something that is gonna happen, and of course respond to it very well. You have seen it with the rugby, not rugby, but rather the ban, the Kenyan ban on football, and then on that is athletics. There was supposed to be a ban, but then he was able to react in the best time possible, and I just hope he can continue with that momentum.
All right. Well, for us, we'll just have to wait and see what will actually happen. If actually, those found capable of misappropriating public fund will be brought to book, because we need accountability, and at the end of the day, we need quality stadium infrastructure to see that our sports actually, shoots to the next level. Well, that was about Jamhuri, and of course we had some Kenya Premier League action. That is, Kenya Police was held to a goalless draw by Bandari FC in their Premier League fixtures. Round of 4 played on Monday, and there was a couple of goals. In as much as we talk about these two teams, especially Kenya Police, that have really invested in players. We saw what they did last season. Actually, they were bringing in players, some even quality players, if we can, say that. But the results are not working out. They played to a barren draw. Then we have another team, that is KCB, the Bankers. These two teams, they have resources. They have what it takes to actually win the title, but yet they struggle. What do you say in that?
For Police FC, I think there is something that is happening inside that team that we don't know. We are talking about the appointment of that is Baraza as their new coach, and even when that is Sam Omolo and the assistant, when they left this team, for example, for Michael Tieno, he talked about leaving the team due to conflict of interest. So I think they have a long way to go for Police FC.
All right.
I can't compare them to KCB. For them, I think now this is a transition period. They have to learn new ideas from the manager, and let's see what happens.
Well, we had some few, videos. I think a couple of clips that were played between these two teams. That is Kenya Police FC, and of course it was Bandari, Kenya Police, and of course Bandari. And there is a few interesting aspects that they said. I don't know if my director has that particular clip so that we can listen to what the new tactician actually had to say about, his team that he was taking charge for the first time.
Nimejaribu kuweka ile timu ambayo nimecheza last weekend, so ndio nimeenda nayo. Mimi mwenyewe kama coach nijaribu kuangalia mahali itakuwa nahitaji kufanya mimi, sasa nitajaribu, lakini nasema kwa pointi moja nashukuru sana kwa hiyo pointi moja, maana haikuwa mechi rahisi. Bandari timu nzuri, na mimi pia sikupata kuona picture ya timu yangu kabisa. Nimeona kwa mazoezi. Unajua mazoezi ni tofauti na match, but naweza sema kuwa ni timu nzuri, na vijana tajaribu kuwasukuma tuweze kupata matokeo kwa mechi zinazokuja.
Police mojawapo ya timu nzuri hapa nchini. Vile vile utakumbuka kwamba walikuwa na mkufunzi mpya kwa mechi hii ya leo, na mara nyingi timu zinapopata mkufunzi mpya, kila mchezaji basi anataka kumridhisha yule mkufunzi mpya. Kwa hivyo wachezaji wote wamejituma, na vile vile pia wetu wamejaribu kujituma. Haijakuwa mechi rahisi, kwa hivyo nashukuru kwa
Well, I will call it some sort of consolation between the two coach, because a draw for me, it's not good enough. Although it's a point, they salvage. And we hope these are two teams with actually good record. If you look at the number of their signings and the way they have flexed their financial, muscles in the transfer market, so we expect some sort of good results. Well, another sleeping giant that we know, and we actually have been talking about it for quite a while, and that is KCB. Of course, Zoya Sugar came from behind to edge KCB 2-1 in the round 4 fixtures played on Sunday, that is December 11, 2022, at MICC, that is Kasarani Stadium. And of course, these are some of the action, how it went down. Well, the Bunkers were robbed 3 points by Zoya Sugar. And of course, it's amazing to see the way Zoya Sugar actually are rising. This is their second win. Of course, and that is 6 points. And this is KCB's second loss.
Of course, this season they won the first one and then 2 losses.
All right. Yeah. Well, how do you sum up KCB's this Zoya Sugar versus KCB?
For KCB, I think they were not good enough. Someone can argue that they scored through penalties, but at the end of the day, it's the result that matters. I'm talking of Zoya Sugar side that lost their first match, drew in the second, and then you have seen 2 consecutive wins. So there is gradual improvement from this side. And in that time, they have won against KCB. Also, they won against Sofapaka. Currently, that on the table, although on for this Gor Mahia, who of course haven't played all their matches. But yes, there is some improvement, and it remains to be seen whether they can keep up the momentum to the end.
All right, and if you look at today's fixtures, that is the first match. Still, Zoya Sugar will be playing Nairobi City Stars. And actually, that match has already began. This is it is 10 minutes past the kickoff. Then we have Bidco United will be playing KCB, of course, the struggling KCB. Remember, Bidco United lost to Tusker FC 1-0, and they'll be meeting KCB. This one is going to be a tough one. Then matches that were supposed to be played, which is their fate is still unknown. That is Bandari and Madara United. They are supposed to play, but because of sports, dispute tribunal and the ongoing fiasco between the current stalemate, a ruling has been made, and we expect to see them in action very soon. And we have another one, Tusker, Wazito FC, still, with the same problem. Then FC Leopards, Poster Rangers. Remember, FC Leopards, they played to a 1-1 draw last weekend. And we have another one, Ulinzi Stars and Sofapaka. So Ulinzi is another team that we expect them to actually perform well. But I'm quite interested between the two teams. Remember, all these teams will be playing at 3 p.m. And on Sunday, Kariobangi Sharks will play against Madara United at the same time, 3 p.m. But let's a quick one. Nzoia Sugar, City Stars. Who do you think will carry the day?
I am going for a narrow win for Nzoia Sugar, given their run of form, 2 wins, and then this have to be a win. And then for City Stars, I think last weekend they showed some flashes of good performances. So I think they might score, but at the end of the day, it's Nzoia Sugar.
All right.
Win, yeah.
Then we have Bidco, KCB.
Hey, this is a tough one because both teams are coming to this match to rejuvenate themselves after losing last week. And then for Bidco United, I can, at the start of the season and even in the preseason, I saw a very good Bidco United side, but their performances this season, the result, leave alone the performance, their results haven't been so pleasing. And in this one, if I am to go for one team, I will go for KCB.
Well, for Bidco United, they have actually come against the very best team in the Premier League. They played Gor Mahia, they lost. They played Tusk, of course, they lost. So these are two of the most dominant teams. So today, I'm not sure where the swindle will settle. But either way, any team is capable of winning. KCB posting poor run of results, and Bidco United still just hanging on the balance, then it can fall on either way. Then pretty quick, we have, let's say, Ulinzi and Sofapaka.
Ulinzi, as I said from the start, they lost to AFC Leopards on their second match, and then we have also had, they lost the first 2 opening matches on their third, and then last weekend it was a draw. I'm seeing a side that is yet to establish a team that can play along each other very well. It's a transition period for them under the new leadership. But in this one, I'll go for a Ulinzi win. They are at home. That's a head start coming to this match. And then there are some players who have shown they are ready to go, maybe even for the Golden Boot. We have Hilary Simiyu and Boniface Mushiri. For the goals they have scored this season, Ulinzi Stars, these 2 players have been so dominant.
Right.
So I think they can continue with this run of form.
And on Sunday, we have Kariobangi Sharks will be playing against Gor Mahia. And this is a tough one. It's actually a tough one because the dynamic of these 2 teams with this kind of fixtures, then I'll say it's not a easy work for Gor Mahia. The same case, it's not easy one for Kariobangi Sharks.
You see, both teams have played 2 matches this season, and then they have not played in the last 2 weeks, so there are lots of similarities between them. Both teams are coming to this match with so much energy, and of course to continue from where they left. For Kariobangi Sharks, they drew in the first match and then won in the second, and then for Gor Mahia, they have had 2 wins.
Right.
So now, coming to this match, any side will want to, of course, continue their form, and I am going for a draw.
For a draw?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's where we leave it up for our sports, this local sports review. And we take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about, or rather we'll be diving direct to international sports review. And in particular, we'll be taking a look at the World Cup and many more, of course, many things to come. We still hope the God will do that thing that he usually does, and that is, win this particular trophy. The Farms have been waiting for quite long. It has been over 20 decades of dominance by European, and this time round, everybody can agree. In Africa, if you go in Asia, of course, if you go in South America, and even North America themselves, they want this thing to go with Argentina. And of course, for me, if it's not Morocco, then it's Argentina. But that and many more will be coming after this short break.
Farming Wonder, we are the innovators of the Wonder Multi-Story Garden. It conserves water from a space that you can grow 6 plants. 16 plants, you are able to do 120 plants from the same space. You can also incorporate other technologies, like with this multi-story garden, you can see we have added drip irrigation.
Katika shamba letu tunatumikia kama smart farming. We partnered with Farming Wonder to automate this multi-story garden. You can automatically irrigate your plants wherever you are at any time.
Imagine living in a society that embraces social justice and equal opportunities for all. On Woman Crush Wednesday, Rise Today, we bring you experts for meaningful conversations on matters, gender equality.
Mimi nasaona hakuna gender equality as we speak.
So we continuously work with the men.
I feel that they are judging the girl. Parenthood.
Mind is very important in infertility.
Mental and physical health.
You need to be surrounded by a proper network.
After nimeanza healing process, nilikumbuka kuhusu boys na wenye niliacha ghetto. Like kila wakati nilikuwa najaribu kutafuta mbinu yenye naweza wafikishie ujumbe.
I feel like if you have 15 minutes, if you have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever amount of time, use it, because any physical activity is beneficial. No physical activity is dangerous for you.
And we touch on current affairs.
Marrying is a journey. It means you're taking a journey together.
I'm dying to be different. Changamoto ziko, but you can't sit there saying, oh, mimi nitafanya mziki siku yenye dozi itakam. You look at this person and you're like, wow, they just woke up and they found themselves here.
Join us every Wednesday morning at 7 to 10 a.m. here on Rise Today Woman Crush Wednesday. I am your host, Nina Gikunda.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
You give me hope. To Kenya, this is my jam down. I say manami, I will never give up. Na hata nikisota away. Show me something. Everybody wanna feel like me. You was like a river. Real thing, if I never mama, I wouldn't believe it. Hear me when I say just like.
Leo nitakuwa nakupa matamu kutoka huku karibu na Watamu. Hapa ni Malindi. Hapa ni Malindi. Yani tutakuwa tunafanya mambo ambayo ni ya jadi. Ngoma za Mwanzele zitakuwa zimetawala kwenye hiki kipindi.
Katika mila ya Kigiriama,
Naam.
kuna bwana alikuwa anaitwa Kombe Waunda.
Haswa.
Yeye ndiye alianzisha hii dance. Hii dance huchezwa wakati wa Jumamosi na wakati wa mavuno pia.
Aha.
Kwa wanaitwa wanavuna, alafu kwa baada ya mavuno pale kuna kitu wanagawanya wao.
All right, welcome back. And now we dive direct to international sports review. And this is where we talk about the ongoing series of World Cup. Remember, it started with 32 teams. It narrowed down to 16, 16 to 8, 8 to 4, and finally 2 teams, 1 prize, 1 trophy, and of course, 1 glory to be won. That is the World Cup. The big question, who will carry the 2022 edition of the World Cup? Well, the final is between France and Argentina. And of course, we have the GOAT, and we have the GOAT in making. I'm talking about Lionel Messi, the real GOAT, and of course, Kylian Mbappe, the GOAT in making. Who will shine? That is a big question, and of course, I'm sure your guess is as good as mine. But if you ask me, maybe it's time for real GOAT to walk away with this, converted prize. And of course, the only prize that I've been missing in his trophy of cabinet. Anyway, but before we dive into sports review, let me take you pretty quick to the Kenya Premier League results, and that is we have Kakamega Homeboys are actually leading against Atlanta, courtesy of Karamor goal, and of course a couple of matches that kick off at 3 p.m. Then we have KCB still 0-0. Then FC Leopards against Postal Rangers still 0-0. Then Nairobi City Stars versus Nzoia Sugar. That particular match is still stalemate draw. Then Ulinzi and Sofapaka still stalemate draw. But the only team that has scored is Kakamega Homeboys. Remember, Kakamega Homeboys sit second on the Kenya Premier League table. Now they have 10 points. Should they maintain this particular lead? Well, now let's talk about the World Cup.
Yeah.
And it's actually here with us, of course, the final of it. Final is tomorrow, Argentina versus France. Which team do you support, by the way? I know Portugal was sent home by Morocco, so now the team has been narrowed down to 2. Which way?
We are talking about a Portugal fan.
All right.
And that should go without saying. I will be backing France to carry home the prize for the second time in a row. And let's see. I think Argentina also has a lot of quality, so it's a match of whoever is lucky enough, whoever of course implements their game plan better, and of course the quality of players will also be determinant.
All right. Well, did you see the semi-final between Croatia and of course Argentina?
Of course, it was a case of for Croatia it was a case of having more possession with no ideas of what to do with the ball. And if you look at their history in this particular World Cup, in every match they have had more possession, they have not scored any goal. And if they have scored, they have not won their match. Look, for example, against Morocco. Morocco has been one of the sides with less possession this season in this World Cup. But of course, they have implemented their game plan, and of course, they have reached such a huge milestone. But for Croatia, in that match against Morocco, they had loads of possession, over 60%. They never scored a goal. Against Japan, the same case, almost 60% possession, they never scored. Against Argentina, the same thing repeating itself. So I think now coming to today's match, they'll be playing against, of course, Morocco for the second time. It will be all about correcting their wrongs and, of course, trying to fluff off their feathers and get something from it.
Well, if you look, for me, I think the Croatia side, of course, in this particular edition of World Cup, since the onset of it, they have only won once against Canada. They have failed to win against any other team. So this is a team that actually, when they came to World Cup, they were lacking, the killer instinct. I will call it, maybe they didn't have that good striking. Yes, they have midfield, and they have they have the best defense, best goalkeeper. They have brilliant midfield, but finishing is so pathetic. and that might even cost them today in this match that they will be playing against Morocco. And it will be sad to see Modric leaving without something to show off. At least last edition of World Cup, they were runners up, and at least they will say we tried our best, and this is actually what we have history in making. This time round, it will be quite a bit different, regardless of the qualities that they have. We're talking about the likes of Perisic, we have Kovacic, we have Modric, we have Marcelo Brozovic. All of them, and actually they have the best defender right now, the best center half in the world.
Yeah.
So this is a team that had qualities, but they only lack, the killer instinct. And I think Argentina played a mind game. They read the way they played, and for them it was like, we'll take the ball to you. You possess, we get the ball, we attack, and it actually worked. If you look at what led to the first goal, that is what led to the first goal, the second goal, and of course the third goal was sort of one-on-one, turning defense in and out, and as a result the tap in. And when you talk about the tap in, you remember the last time I told you the quality of Julian Alvarez. He waits and he punch on them, and it's actually working. But actually Croatia were outplayed and outsmart regardless of the possession that they had, the ball possession, everything. But in that rating, actually they played the second best in that team, because Argentina beat them on the long range balls and everything that really actually happened. Well, having said that, there is a mountain to climb. What do you say about today's today Croatia versus Morocco game?
It will be all about being clinical, because Morocco haven't neither been so good, and if Croatia can come to this match and implement their, of course, game plan in terms of don't have so much possession, but when it comes to creating chances, for example, you saw Kovacic. He was one of the best players in that match. You also saw the likes of Modric even dropping deep to, of course, offer that defensive assistance. So in this match, I think it will be all about the team that, of course, is more clinical in front of goal, and we also need to, of course, be compact at the back, because that is something Croatia lacked in their last match. The first goal, a sloppy mistake in the final third, and then we have Julian Alvarez, of course, very pacey, and they also saw a poor clearance by Bona Sosa in their defense. Again, Josko Gvardiol has been one of the best players, but again, one of his weaknesses is that he's not so good in making those recovery runs. And so this is something that Morocco know that they are vulnerable in. They are not so good in, of course, making those recoveries. And it's something that they will come to this match and try to make the best out of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, another match that really caught, attention of many. It's so sad to see the fairy tale actually ends in the semi-finals. The match between France and Morocco. Many had hopes. Everybody was rooting for Morocco. Even when you saw the crowd, the stadium was crazy, painted red almost everywhere. So it is like the world was supporting Morocco. But Morocco was coming against a very experienced team, a team that they are the defending champions, a team that has quality players. You're talking about the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Olivier Giroud, talking about Ousmane Dembele. We have the likes of Thea Hernandez, Rafael Varane, just to mention a few. What is your summary of that particular, match, the semi-final between Morocco and France? What is the one thing that really stood out for you?
It's not one thing, but one player. That is Kylian Mbappe. I think his performance summed up everything in that match.
All right.
Look at the first goal, for example. It was a case of, I think it was Saiz losing an interception, and then we have that is Griezmann coming off from the right-hand side, playing it to Mbappe, and of course he drags the entire defense, and they forget their back post where, of course, Hernandez was. When the ball comes to him, he has acres of space, and he's ruthless with that half-volley finish. In the second goal, again, it was the debate about Hakimi versus Mbappe. Mbappe gets the best out of Hakimi, plays it to Marcus Thuram. Again, the ball is played back to Mbappe, and then he drags. It was actually a situation of 7 versus 3. There were 7 defenders, that is Moroccan defenders in the box against Marcus Thuram, Kylian Mbappe, and actually Colomwani in the back post. So one thing they failed to do in this match, they focused too much on Kylian Mbappe and forgot to defend the other players. And in this case, in the second goal, it was, of course, Colomwani against this goalkeeper Bono in the back post, and he scores the goal. So I think Kylian Mbappe again is the player to watch, even in tomorrow's game.
Well, for me, one player that really stood out, that is, people will talk, but I think Antonio Griezmann has been very instrumental, and he has played a key role in France, let's say, fairy tale. Remember, at the beginning of it, people were like, no team has ever won World Cup and actually defended in over 60 years. And this is a France that, regardless of, despite many injuries from key players, the likes of Paul Pogba missing, N'Golo Kante missing, Christopher Nkunku missing, so many players out, Karim Benzema, the Ballon d'Or winner out, and yet the team soldiers on and post this particular result. If you ask me, if in my ever imagination, if I ever thought that France will make it to the final, my answer would have been a big no. But here we are talking about France versus Argentina, the final, and about who wins, that is a big question. But this time I'm very optimistic that France will not lift it, but the virtue that they have really walked the journey up to the final, then that tells something. But for me, one player that really stood out, it's Griezmann. Do you think this is the rebirth of Antoine Griezmann?
Yeah, of course. Maybe even at a club level, we saw him not having the best of his performances in the Spanish La Liga at Atletico, then Atletico Barcelona, and he has been one of the best, alongside the likes of course, Mbappe. And in as much as we are talking about Kylian Mbappe, of course, being defended by so many defenders, Antoine Griezmann, of course, has been fantastic in this edition. And going to the final, it's the same spirit, the same motivation, and we can just wait and see what he'll do in tomorrow's match.
Well, when you look at France, France team going to Morocco versus France match, this is a team that they have conceded almost every game that they have played, but it was surprising to see France actually keeping a clean sheet. They won 2-0 against Morocco. They have never kept a clean sheet in this World Cup until the semi-final. Is it that now, as the going gets closer to the very end of the glory, is the time that you now have to improve on your defense? Is that the case? Or it was just they were lucky, and of course,
I mean, Morocco are not so competitive, although we saw, of course, Hugo Lloris denying Morocco one chance. They didn't create so many chances. But yeah, as you say, they are now heading towards the prize. I don't think even in their wildest dreams they thought they could make it without the likes of Nkunku, Benzema, Pogba, I mean N'Golo Kante. But now they are in the finals, and this just tells you have to, of course, improve in every aspect, because the best, it's said that the best kind of defense is actually attack. You can concede so many goals, but also make sure you score more than you concede.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the secret going to the finals.
Well, I'm not yet convinced about France defense. Yes, they have the likes of Jules Koundé, we have Upamecano, Konate, Varane there, you have Theo Hernandez, but still one-on-one, and now that they are going to face a team like Argentina. Remember, even this is a team with yet another history, a team that have actually scored in every match they have played in this particular World Cup. Does it send a signal, of course, a warning signal to France?
Of course, I've also heard about the likes of Konate, Varane. I'm not so sure about it, but it has been reported that they caught flu in the, and they were not involved in yesterday's training. But basically, Argentina is a threat in this match, because you are looking at one player, Lionel Messi. I know he'll be marked, but again, is a player who is not stagnant. He can make, he's always moving, and then he can make absolutely ridiculous passes, and of course disorganize your defense. So in this match, I think it will be a case of the motivation. It's not all about the quality. Whether you have been sloppy, it's all about focus, and of course knowing we have something to fight for.
Well, even before we come to the World Cup, today we have third place finish between African giant, of course, Morocco, and Croatia. Now, this match will be one of its kind. Remember, one team, actually the whole team, they are eyeing for glory. Remember, Morocco is on the verge of making history. Croatia want to at least get out of World Cup with something to show, and that is the third place finish will do them good now that the real title have vanished. Argentina did the damage, and now they have to fight for one thing, and that is at least the bronze medal. And this time round they face another stubborn team. These two teams have good defensive record. Remember, coming to semi-finals, Morocco had not, at least by opponent, no any opponent had managed to at least score past those bricks that Moroccan had quite built, until France, of course, dismantled the defense and scored 2-0. Well, this is a team with good defensive, and yet even Croatia has good defensive. In terms of tactical wise, how will it play out?
First of all, before we come to the tactical approach, I think both teams are coming to this match to right their wrongs from the group stage. They were in the same group, of course, played out a draw, a 0-0 draw. They never scored. So the big question is, how do we, of course, make sure that we score in this match? Tactical-wise, I think both teams have been better of possession. I mean, when they have less possession. Talk of Morocco, for example, against Belgium, they played with a 33% possession. But in terms of the other statistics, they were the better side, creating so many chances and, of course, having more shots on goal. And now in this particular match, Croatia, of course, I think they also come to this match to dominate. And now the only thing they have to do is being ruthless in front of goal, because that is what they have lacked. That's what they lacked against Japan. against Morocco in the group stage against Argentina. And then also don't forget to defend so well, be compact, and of course maybe bring in some fresh legs. We saw the likes of Andre Kramaric. He wasn't one of the best players on the pitch, but played for almost 70 minutes. For me, if I was Zlatko Dalic, I wouldn't start him today. Yeah.
All right. Well, then there it is, a Moroccan side, the one that, defend and even attack at the same time. They have, good midfield. And this time round, I don't know if some other teams have really, noticed their weak link. And I don't know if Croatia will use it, but it's very interesting to see how it will play out, knowing that one team is eyeing history, the other one, they just want to at least go home with something. Either way, they have nothing to lose, both teams. So today, that is the third place finish between Croatia and, of course, Morocco. Your prediction, pretty quick, who will carry the day?
I think it's Croatia. I've been backing Morocco, but in this case, I think it will be Croatia to carry the day. Yeah.
Well, for me, I see glory, Atlas Lions. They must carry this one, and I know they'll make us proud at the end of the day. Now, to the big prize is here, and that is the World Cup final. And this time will be refed by a Polish for the first time ever.
Yeah, for the first time.
Well, that's good news, seeing some other things happening for the first time. And actually, speaking about World Cup, let me take you through some statistics, or rather history that were made. We have the Australian goalkeeper, that is Wayne Hennessy, was the first player to actually receive red card in the 2022 Qatar World Cup. Then Lionel Messi is the first Argentine player to actually hit 25 games, that is World Cup game for Argentina. Well, that record was held by Diego Maradona, that was 21, now Messi 25, and still marching. Probably tomorrow's game it will be 26, the highest record. Remember, out of those 25 games that he has played, he has scored 11 goals, still low behind the real, scorers like the likes of Thomas Muller, of course, but it's not bad. Then another thing, Stephanie Frapport is the first female referee to officiate World Cup, men World Cup match. So history have been made in this World Cup. Well, now the real test that awaits Argentina versus France. This is a tough one. It's a very tough one. In terms of tactical wise, remember these teams, they met in the 2018, that is in Russia, and of course France won 3-3. It was 4-3, where Mbappe scored a brace, Benjamin Pavard, scored, and I think it was even Oliver Giroud even had a chance of smiling with the net. This time round, different avenue, of course, same tournament, and this time with a bigger prize on the table. Who is winning this one?
In as much as I want to see France lift this title, I think it's a final. It's a tough match. France have had experience in the past. Argentina too. Remember losing to Germany in 2014. So for both teams, they are in the final, and the satisfaction for both of them is to win the trophy. It's not just to be in the final. For a team like Morocco, if they made it to the finals, it will be a case of, we have made it at least for the first time, and this is of course a history for African continent. But for these ones, for Argentina, it's all about correcting what their wrongs in 2014. For France, it's maintaining and of course defending their title. There are players to watch, and in this kind of matches, don't be surprised if you don't see the likes of Mbappe maybe scoring, Messi, Alvarez, Griezmann. Don't be surprised if you see the likes of Molina deciding this game. Players maybe who have not even scored in this World Cup, because the focus shifts on these iconic figures like the likes of Messi, and you forget about the fine details, and that is what actually wins this kind of matches. But generally, I expect an end-to-end stuff. I don't expect one team to be so dominant. I expect to see 50-50 possession in this kind of match, and whoever is lucky enough will carry the day.
Well, for this time's World Cup, it's not about lucky. It's about sweat, saliva, hard work, tactics, individual brilliance, teamwork. That will decide who wins this particular title. And when we talk about these qualities, of course, we have seen what, a team like Argentina has done. We have seen the likes of players like Messi and Julian Alvarez. These are the two main contributors of Argentina's goals. And if you ask me, much of the success of this Argentina team has been, revolving around these two players. Messi creates, Alvarez scores. And that is something that France should be worried about. If there is one player that you can't stop, it's Messi. You can't mark Messi, because Messi is a player with dribbling skills, ability. His passes are crazy. You don't know where he will pass, how he detects the game. When you saw the Croatia versus Argentina game, this was just the first let's say 20 minutes. Messi was just walking, and sometimes you could see touching his ankle, and many were wondering, is this some sort of injury or what? Like, Messi was just there. Then in a splash of seconds, just boom, there Messi doing his magic.
Yeah, Messi, a player to watch, of course, is. You should also have mentioned about conceding free kicks, because if you are defending Messi, you have to be wary of where you are doing it. The position, if you do it in the half spaces, he's very good. He has shown it in a number of matches that he can actually a penalty. I mean, a free kick is like a penalty to him. He can convert. He did it in the Copa America, and knowing that this is actually the biggest prize, I think he's a player to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, there were some of reactions as to what fans were thinking about this particular final between France and Argentina, and Argentina fans are really happy and very eager, and they are in high spirits, and it's like they're almost certain that this one will come home. I don't know if my director has that particular reaction.
He is the best of all time. He is the best of all time, no doubt about it.
A feeling that I cannot explain.
They are my soul. We have a great team. We're having such a good time. This is probably our best World Cup. And I don't know, man, have you seen Julian Alvarez, McAllister, Enzo Fernandez, Lionel, El Dibu? Whoa, what a team, man. I'm so happy. I spent all my savings on this ticket, and I was so nervous because Modric, Croatia, good team, strong team. And now I'm so happy, man.
I have no words to describe this. This is my second final I'm going to see, but this one is going to be present here in Qatar, so I am very happy. I don't have words for this. It's amazing, this one.
Yeah, of course! We're more excited than ever. There's no team like Argentina. Messi is going to bring us the cup. Mbappe, who? He's the best.
Well, that is some joy, and every Argentina fan, they're just happy. Even some, spending much of their savings just to come and watch this particular World Cup. And I must say, it has played in their favor. had they been knocked out of maybe, let's say, group stages or even quarterfinals or even semis. What a heartbreak. But now they'll have to enjoy and they'll have a run for their money until the very end. That is the final of it. That will be on Sunday, the epitome. And may the best team win, and that is Argentina. Well, of course, that's where we take it a wrap. It has been, one of the most thrilling and exciting 2022 season that has brought much happiness to sports fans and enthusiasts. And of course, this particular production hasn't been achieved on a solo, on a solo man ride. It has been a hard work, and of course, with brilliant teamwork behind it. Talking about from production all the way to camera crew, many things for my director. Of course, today my director has been Martha, and of course we have Wanjohi there, matters to do with sound. Then we have Major Minor there. And of course, in studio we have Jovial here, my cameraman, and all those who made this production a success. And to you, our dearmost viewers, for always keeping in touch and choosing On the Spot to be your number one sports show. Until next time, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous 2023. Of course, enjoy and have fun. We hope to see you next time, alive and kicking by the grace of God. My name is AUMA Evans. Until next time, good evening.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team